Smarterfan. Smarterfan. Yeah. Smarterfan.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another segment of Smarterfan podcast, where we delve into all aspects of sports. And today we're going to deal with, I wanted to deal with the Cowboys and their draft picks. And it just seems to me like they took the bottom of the barrel because, I mean, these guys have low ceilings. You know, you got a defensive tackle they took, Maisie Smith. He's has size and explosiveness, but he struggles to move blockers. He needs to be more consistent at securing his gaps. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, the only upside is that Dan Quinn can probably coach him up.
Yeah.
Um, you know, we got a tight end who's basically just a good blocker, but he doesn't use his size to his advantage. He's 6'5", you know, and he waits on the throws instead of reaching out for them, you know. So
Okay.
and he has poor run after catch ability. So
Mm-hmm.
and he's not good in crowds. So then we got a linebacker who, of course, Uncle Jed just loves damaged goods because this guy has an injury history.
Yep.
And
Yep. Yep. Sounds about right.
yeah, he needs more strength. Uh, he needs to work on his tackling because he's a poor tackler. He's basically he'll be good in the nickel or dime. That's about it.
Mm.
And then we got a defensive end. He has a nose for the ball, you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but he could be a sub package rusher. He's basically a good backup. That's about it. You know, I mean, most of these guys, as I see it, they're either they'll be either third stringers or practice squad. That's the way I see it. You know,
Uh, mm-hmm.
go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, no. Go ahead. Finish, please.
Okay, then
Please.
we got a left tackle. They took a left tackle. He's definitely probably going to be third string. Uh, he's uh, he's 6'4", 309. But he's average at drive blocking. You know, but and he's if they move him inside, he has trouble pass protecting. So he's another work in progress.
Steve, you bring up a very good point because I want to talk about the draft, which I
Mm-hmm.
really feel is just a marketing. Um, it's a marketing ploy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I bet you and I can't name a team who drafted a number one in the last 3 years that made any kind of impact.
Well,
Know why?
why?
Because the reality is you got to have great coaching, you have to have the right system, and you got to want it as a player.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you guys got guys down in the six. I mean, a lot of that draft stuff is is Joe Staley, former offensive lineman for the Cleveland Browns, all world lineman. It's really just a marketing show. I mean, if you're in the draft, if they don't have tape on you at that point, and it's a lot of draft. You know how many number ones are in the XFL? Nothing wrong with the XFL, different other leagues, and not in the NFL, but they were
Mm-hmm.
number ones. There was a big show. I mean, the
Yeah.
kid that just got drafted to the Panthers, the kid that went high, Malik something Mills, I think, you know, and it's not working out for him there. That doesn't mean he's a bust. It just may not be working out for him because there's a lot of moving parts that people don't really understand. You know, the
Yeah.
transition from going from college to a pro system, you're playing with
Yes.
grown men. and you're getting
Yeah.
paid. So the expectation is different. It's not a frat boy situation. And a lot of guys can't make that transition or need more time to mature.
Yeah.
So and I think a lot of these expectations are a lot unrealistic. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I see,
But
I see all these owners and your team. Oh, we got our guy and whatever. Man, let me tell you something. It's just like moving from college, from high school to college.
mm-hmm.
The- you know, you find out who are the dogs. You know, when
Yeah.
the hitting is out there, hitting in the college is not like hitting in the high school. It's different, and
Well,
you see that.
some of these guys didn't even make the combine that they drafted.
Well, again, I think that's all marketing for the shield, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because you got to ask yourself a simple question. Okay, the guys who did really well in the combines, who did really well in the draft, how many of those guys are still in the league or made the team?
Mm.
Because Joe Staley said, hey, Tom Brady went 199. Look, he was in the physical specimen, but history has said he's one of the greatest of all time. So
Mm-hmm.
again, it depends on your system. It depends who you are. It depends how bad you want it. And Shannon Sharp, Hall of Famer, went in the sixth
Mm-hmm.
round,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
he tells you himself, if it wasn't for Coach Phillips and yelling at Coach Reeves, like, you might as well put the guy in because nobody can stop him on defense. It would have never happened. But he went sixth round, even though his brother was an all-world receiver. So
Mm-hmm.
to me, it really boils down, and he says, "You always remind me about Taco. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you can go high. You can go with it. Do you want it? And how
Yeah. But
bad do you want it?
Taco, you take
I didn't mean to get
Taco
you upset.
over friggin' um. Don't get me started on
All
that.
right, all right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist though. I couldn't resist because you
So
can say that
so
to yourself. But keep going. Keep going.
well okay. So what's up with Lamar?
Well, listen, man, I am so happy. First of all, let me say this. I'm so happy Lamar got his money. I'm so glad that because I think that he's worth it. He earned it. So I'm glad for him. But again, he needs a stylist. There comes a point, as I was saying before, that guys got to come out of that. I'm not in college anymore. I'm a professional. I mean, it's not like he's playing cornerback or
No.
a lineman. He's the
Well,
face of the franchise. You
but
know what I mean?
I think both parties came to the realization that
Yeah.
one, he wasn't going to get Deshaun Watson money, and two,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Ravens knew that because of that high expectation he had, that he had no place to go but to come back to the Ravens.
Well, uh, I think this is a little carousel, right? Because the reality is probably Joe Burrow and Herbert are going to get to the Deshaun money. It's a pathway. It's a
Yeah,
pathway, right?
right.
So they'll probably get that money. They can't help but get there. I keep trying to tell people who argue with me all day, they have to get the guaranteed contracts because the TV money is so big. Do you
Mm-hmm.
understand that YouTube has jumped into the game of broadcasting the
Yeah.
NFL? Do you know how much money that is?
Yeah, yeah, I know. I know.
Right? So the salaries got to go up. It's just a matter of who's going to get it. And it's long overdue, quite honestly. If anybody should be getting guaranteed contracts in any sport, it should be the NFL because of what you have to endure regarding your body. So it's going to happen. But it's good fodder, it's good attention. But,
Well, if you
you know,
ask me, Anthony Spencer and Ratliff weren't worth the money they got.
well, I mean, I hear you, but sometimes, it's what the market will bear,
And
and then, mhm,
that's another pet peeve I have because uh you know Deshaun Watson got this money doesn't mean Joe Schlepp, who had one good year, should demand the same kind of money.
Well, I mean, I understand that. I still don't understand why the Giants paid Daniel Jones what they paid him, but you got to understand this part of it, and this is the thing that I had to look at it. What do you where else are you gonna go?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ain't many people. Maybe since the beginning of the NFL, to give you a context, maybe there've been 100,000 players who played in the NFL since the beginning in the 1920s.
Mm. Yeah.
Think about that. That's not a very large sample of people,
No.
right?
No.
It's not. So it's not like you can find people who can do these things at a very high level. It looks easy on the field, but it ain't easy, right? So you're dealing with a very specialized situation. I had to tell somebody that, and they're looking at me, well, blah 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 blah. And Joe Burrows, I said, I'd be surprised if Joe Burrows is still with the Bengals in 3 years. And they were like, "What are
Mm.
you talking about? You're crazy." I said, "The Bengals are not a Super Bowl winning franchise. That's not in their DNA. It's just not." And I would doubt he'll be there. I don't care
and,
how much money they throw at him. I
and
don't think he's
as
going to be there
as Boomer always has been preaching, the Bengals don't like to pay nobody.
again. And that's why they've never been. Even Joe Green, you know, there's just some franchises who don't have that DNA. But I don't want to get stuck on Lamar. I want to
Mhm.
talk about Kyler Murray. I want you to mark this down on your calendar. Kyler Murray's career may be over.
And by
Uh,
his own doing.
well, I think it's all by his own doing. I think he got a nice payday,
He did.
and I think that they got rid of his coach, and it was such a highly specialized situation that whoever is going to come in and coach that team, I don't think. Um, Again, the importance of scheme, relationships, how that affects your career. I'd be surprised if he comes back. I think he's going to ride off into the sunset and go play baseball because there's just no way a man that size is going to be able to take the beating in an NFL. It's just not going to happen. And I
And
mean,
he's not his maturity level is not where it should be,
yeah, that's another thing. That's
you know.
another thing. And I'm not mad at him. It was a highly specialized thing, and again, another franchise that can't get out of its own way.
Mhm.
The Cardinals, if they couldn't get it done with Bruce Arians and didn't keep Bruce Arians, he took them farther than they've ever been,
Mhm.
but they just could. He couldn't get them over the hump. There's just there's just that DNA, you know. Then
Yeah.
I had somebody attack me today about LeBron and Steph. Um, I said Steph needs some help. It's basically like that. If the Lakers continue to play up to their ability, it's going to be very difficult. I've never seen one person beat five. And that's
Yeah.
basically what it's looking like.
That's
One
because the
person,
Warriors are getting old.
yeah, and they haven't retooled very well. Um, and it's kind of showing. So it's going to be interesting what happens to them. I think this may actually be the greatest test of Steve Kerr's coaching tenure. Can he
Well,
rebuild what he didn't build? Because Mark
it,
Jackson built it.
I was just gonna say that. I was
Yeah,
just gonna say that.
yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll, we'll see.
We, it's going to be very, very interesting because I still can't believe with so many teams that are under 500 that Mark Jackson, who I've met personally, great guy,
Mhm.
hasn't gotten the opportunity. And see that it proves my theory again. There are certain organizations that will just never win a chip.
Well, if you want to see, I don't know if you saw this. It was a really good documentary called New York Point Gods. It talked about
I've been meaning to see that.
you got to watch that. It talks about all the point guards that came out of New York, and it
Wow.
is excellent. It is excellent.
Is it on Hulu? What is it on? HBO?
Um,
I'll find it.
I think I saw it on Showtime.
Oh, okay,
I think it
okay.
was on Showtime. But anyway, I wanted to get to the state of the Yankees, where is Brian Cashman a GM or is he Colonel Potter running the MASH 4077?
Whatever you ask me, I say Colonel Potter.
Definitely, because you got all of the bats out of the lineup. Well, Stanton is a given. He's going to be hurt every year. That's just a given. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Donaldson, we're stuck with him for one more year,
Mm-hmm.
and his bat is not what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then we lost just about all. The only pitcher who's doing good really is Cole. He got pitcher of the month, American League pitcher of the month for April because
Mm-hmm.
he's the only one doing anything. You know, I mean, Nasty Nestor's doing his thing, but
Mm-hmm.
after that, you got, you know, we just got Bader back, and he was damaged goods when we got him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then he
Mm-hmm.
had to leave the game the other night. You know, so and we just got him back. You know, Peraza rolled his ankle in the same game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Rodon, another one, we got him damaged goods. They say he won't be back.
Mm.
Uh, he won't. He'll be back in sometime in June. That's when he'll be back. You know, Severino, another one, can't stay healthy. You know, he'll be. They said he'll be back May or June. Now
Mm-hmm.
Judge, he should be back soon. He was day to day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it just goes on and on. You know,
Hey,
and my
you know, there's about 6 months till October, right?
oh, I know. But the problem is that by the time these guys come back,
Uh-huh.
they're not in game shape because they've been out half the year. So
Well,
now you're talking about them coming back when things are starting to heat up and they're rusty.
no, well, it all depends on the coaching. You
You
know,
know,
because if I let you, there's 182 games. You come back at the second half of the season, you better be in there training. You better be in there doing what you got to do to make a run. So that's what it is. And I think that's
well,
what a lot of, I mean, it's a lot of games. People don't understand. Your body takes a lot. It's a lot of wear and tear. And, the body has to have time to recover. It's a lot on your brain, on your body, on your mind, on your spirit,
but here's the
you know.
thing. Here's
Hmm.
here's the thing. When I've never played organized baseball, but
Hmm.
I have plenty of friends who have, and they were always taught when you go into the weight room, you don't go for bulk, you go for reps,
Hmm.
tone, muscle tone. These
Hmm.
guys are all bulked up, and that's why they're getting all these soft tissue injuries. You know, every time Judge swings the bat, you cringe because he might pull something. You know, he
No.
he hurt his hip swinging the bat. You know, same with
Yeah.
Stanton. Stanton's all muscle. You know,
Yeah.
always got hamstring problems. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
another thing
Yeah.
though is
Yeah. It's true.
you have to with all of these injuries year in and year out, you have to start looking at the um, strength and conditioning team also.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
You know,
Oh, without a
because
doubt.
it seems like it's the same injuries every year with these guys.
Well, I vote as I have a good friend who's actually 25 years strength and conditioning coach, who's now at the University of Louisville. Um, a lot of these guys, I keep trying to tell, I say it all the time. If you want to have a long career, healthy career, follow the LeBron James mode. Put the work in your body, learn
Mm-hmm.
your body, learn the mechanics of your body. You guys make enough money that your Ferrari should be always well tuned, well cared for, well fed. And
Yeah.
so, to me, at this stage of the game, when I see guys, going through a lot of these injuries, I'm really questioning their personal conditioning. What they're really doing, because you have enough money to afford a personal trainer. You have enough money to have the specialist that can tell you how to be healthy. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not like you're making minimum wage. You're making millions of dollars. Why don't you have? It's the same thing I was talking to somebody else on the Jamie Foxx thing. It's like, is it me? But did him and Shaq go to the same hospital? I mean, it looks like they walked in off the street at like Bellevue Hospital, and I'm like, you guys make a lot of money. You mean you don't have a private doctor? You don't have, you're just getting treatment like any person walking off the street? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
It really
man,
doesn't. I mean, you're
it's
an athlete.
ridiculous.
This is what you do. Your body is how you make money. And you don't have a private doctor? You don't have a
Well,
private physician? It's
it's
just
it's
strange to me.
it's funny because when Bartolo Colon was playing for the Mets, people wondered how he managed to stay around so long and never got hurt. And
Hmm.
one player said, "Well, you can't pull fat."
Cecil Fielder,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
You know, these
Um,
guys, these guys were big, but they weren't bulky, and they didn't get hurt. So there's something to that.
yeah, I again, when I talk to Dr. Pat Ivy, there's some of the science that's out there now. The injuries these guys, it's almost their fault because it's like the science that exists now, the technology that exists now. There's no reason unless there's just something seriously wrong that you're having these kind of injuries.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the science is crazy. I mean, literally, they can formulate a diet based on your blood type. So you're only eating things that benefit your body. But I just I don't want to miss this 2 points, man. I'm ashamed of myself. I'm ashamed of myself. I have to confess, Joe.
Man.
I didn't know the Knicks were in the playoffs until a few weeks ago. A week ago.
Oh yeah,
They
yeah,
snuck in. I didn't even know. I felt so bad. I
yeah.
hope they don't revoke. I hope they don't
They
revoke my card.
they got by Cleveland, and yeah, they're playing Miami now.
They're
I
playing
think it's
Miami.
tied. It's tied 1-1.
It's tied 1-1, and I just want to say for the record, Jimmy Butler is a dog. That
Yeah.
guy comes to play. That guy is a winner. That guy is a winner. And I'm telling you, man, he's the real deal. He's the real deal. If I don't get anything said tonight, I'm glad the Knicks are pulled off this miracle because I didn't even see it coming. I don't know how they did it. I'm
Well,
glad they did it.
but now
But
they're going up against a well-coached team.
yeah, yeah.
You
I
know,
don't even know
so
who the coach of the Knicks is. Who's the coach?
the coach of the Knicks is Thibodeau.
Hey, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay.
And
All right.
you got Spoelstra coaching the Miami Heat.
Oh, yeah. He's been there 20
Yeah,
years plus.
yeah. But he's
Mhm.
no slouch. He knows how to coach.
Hey, he's no slouch. So, Jimmy just impresses me so much, man. I mean,
Mm.
I still remember the Sports Illustrated. And for those fans who didn't know, true to our name at Smarterfan Podcast, Sports Illustrated is actually owned by a private family. Think about that.
Yeah,
They're
well,
actually owned by a private family. But when
but
Jimmy
they,
Butler was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, homeless,
hmm.
homeless, and just to see how he's been able to overcome his Goliaths and his challenges to get where he is. That's a special young man. Real talk.
So who do you
Special young.
think's going to come out of the West?
I think the Lakers are going to do it. I don't think Phoenix has enough.
They don't have a bench.
Yeah, I don't think they have enough.
And
Yeah, I
and
think.
and CP3, he's only he is every time they get to the dance, he's hurt.
Yeah, I mean, you would figure by now somebody would figure out, well, I ain't gonna play him, but for half the season.
You know, shoot.
That's just what I would do. He's that valuable.
Yeah,
I don't need you
yeah,
the first half of the season. I need you money time.
exactly. And he's
I need
never
you money time.
there. He's never
Yeah,
there at that time.
his body can't take it. He's been playing a long time. The body eventually says, hey, hey, I can't do this no more. You gotta make some adjustments. And if you
Yeah,
don't, you're not. It's gonna shut you down. your body will shut you down.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah.
hey, we covered a lot today. Lamar, Kyler Murray, the Yankees, the Cowboys, LeBron and Steph, the Knicks, and Jimmy Butler. I tell you, the
Hey.
Smarter Fan podcast, buddy, you're going to get
Yep.
something you've never gotten anywhere else. I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
Ever. Take us home.
Any more good stuff you got, buddy? Because I know you got something on the sheet that's probably as long as Santa's Christmas list.
Nah, just that we got a couple of other relievers that are gone for the season with Tommy John surgery. So, you know, we got no arms, we got no bats until maybe mid-June.
Well, you know, Cashman's got to earn his money, right? Cashman's got to earn his money. But last point, you know, as we wrap it up, hey, Jalen Hurts and those young women agents are doing their thing. I'm glad they're in the game, bringing that energy, and
Yeah.
a shift is going on. Mark my words. I think in a year or two, we're going to have 4 expansion teams in the NFL. And I rest my case tonight. Smarter Fan Podcast. See you next week. What you got for us, Joe?
Have a good evening or have a good day wherever you are.
Sounds good to me, buddy. Smarter Fan Podcast. Don't miss it and stay in the game.
Smarter fan. Ugh.